Oops. So I've got my cup of tea there as well. Lie down onto your back and you've got your bolster behind, but also take your block and have that so it's just beyond your toes, so that you're going to be able to reach it with your feet and pull it in a moment. For now, it's just where your toes are. And if your legs are straight, then put it between your legs, so you're going to be able to get hold of it with your feet. And we're going to stay here a little bit longer tonight, so make sure you've got the right incline that you're going to be okay for a few minutes. The head isn't falling back too far, so the passage of breath is open. Let's spend our first minute breathing down toward the abdomen. So when you inhale, you feel the abdomen rise. And when you exhale, you feel the abdomen fall. Just let that almost hypnotize your mind. The rise and fall of your breath down to the bottom of your lungs and your abdomen. Good, and then bring your attention to the middle of the lungs. So feel now like you're breathing more around the mid-chest bra strap sort of area, or your heart rate monitor area. And just let that be your focus. Feel if you were wearing a strap around your chest, whatever that strap would be, try and feel like your ribcage is expanding into all sides of it, the back, the sides, the front. Good, and then to the upper chest. So now all your focus on breathing in the upper chest. See how high you can drench the upper lobes of your lungs with your breath. As you do that, make sure you're not hunching your shoulders in an effort to pull the breath up. Just simply sensing your breath mainly in the upper lungs. Good, and then bring your knees in together, pause with your feet flat, and just let your knees knock in slightly to each other. Lift your bottom a fraction and stretch your lower back long, and pause a moment there. Just feel the energy of your inner thighs, or anywhere else around your thighs, hips and lower back. For me, it's just all crying out in the inner thighs for my attention. See where it feels for you. Okay, and then we're going back into this. So this time bring the soles of your feet on the outside of your block and bring the block in towards you. So your feet now are wider because you've got the block between your feet. And you can use something else if you haven't got a block available. Even though a cushion would be spongy, a cushion would even do. Something to make your feet a bit wider. Let's now that we've got more width in the legs, feel even more in your inner thighs. So let's go with slow breaths, filling your belly, mid-chest, upper chest, and then exhale. So exhale all your air out. And breathe in through your nose to the belly, to the mid-lungs, to your upper lungs, till you're full. And Exhale and feel your legs, your inner thighs relax. Breathing in, lower lungs, middle lungs, upper lungs. Exhaling, relaxing. I'm going to add onto that now, so you're going to inhale in those 3 compartments and then hold your breath for just a few counts. You might just count a couple of seconds, or you might be able to count maybe 4 or 5 seconds, holding the breath and then exhaling smoothly. If you struggle with holding your breath, just carry on doing what you were doing before the hold. Because you might be focusing on the counting of your breath, the following of your breath, sometimes we can tense in the face. Make sure as you exhale, really relax across your forehead, relax the bridge of your nose, relax your cheeks, your eyes, your jaw. Your whole face feels like it melts with the exhalation. So there's no tension being built anywhere, just the dissolving of tension with your breath. One more round like that. And then guide your knees back in again. So we come back into a little knock-kneed position. Lift your bottom, stretch your tailbone long, and pause there. And then for this final little set, we're bringing the feet onto the block with the soles of your feet touching. So your feet are now higher, not wider, but higher. If that feels too much, you could always put fists underneath your outer hips, or you could just place the feet back down into either of the first 2 positions we did. See if you can add onto that sequence of breath. Empty your lungs. Breathe in, belly, lower lungs, mid lungs, upper lungs. Hold the breath, whatever number of counts you can manage. Exhale slowly. And then feel there's a natural pause at the end of the exhale, where you might just notice a few counts again at the end of the exhale, before you begin inhaling again. One more round like that. Inhaling in those 3 parts, slowly feeling your breath filling you up to full. Holding the breath, lifting gently, and then exhaling all the air slowly out until you taper off into no breath for a few counts. I'm going to add one last thing onto there. So we'll breathe in, 3, lower lungs, 2, middle lungs, 3, upper lungs. Hold the breath, and while you're holding the breath, just very lightly lift your pelvic floor muscles. Not so that you're feeling tight, but just a nice light lift of the pelvic floor. Then exhale, the air out nice and slowly, let your legs feel heavy. Pause at the end of the exhale, just a second or so, and then inhale again. When you hold your breath, just gently feeling your pelvic floor muscles just lightly lifting. Like imagine it's a trap door that's closing and lifting up. And exhaling to the end of the breath, a moment of pause. We'll go one more round with that. Guide your knees in, feet flat to the floor, little mini knock-kneed position. Lengthen your tailbone toward the bottom end of your mat. Relax a moment. Good, and then make your way up to sitting. Turn around to face your bolster if you're using one. Turn it the other way on your mat. Make sure it's even. Place your legs over the bolster. And we're going for a forward bend with your legs bent. And if you struggle to forward bend, then you could even prop a little cushion underneath your sit bones so that it helps tilt your sit bones forwards. So it might be that initially, because we've been in a back bend, that you just come forwards and rest your hands or your forearms on your bolster. Just feel yourself softening now into more of a forward bend, but we're taking our time getting there. Of course, if you feel the need to or you're able to, you can go in a bit deeper. But for now, we're going to keep the bolster there underneath the back of the knees. So if you end up getting flat onto the legs, then that's great. But it is by no means the aim. The aim is to feel that you are going to a point where you can feel the back body starting to open. Good, then come up to sitting and pause, just sitting up straight. Come to standing, bend forwards. Let's take a minute here. And if you struggle with forward bends, you could put your hands or your forearms on a sofa and use that to support you so that you're not just hanging all your weight into a sensitive back. If the back is sensitive, put your arms up on something. Otherwise, just dangle. then just start to bend one knee, straighten the other, maybe with a little swing of your hips from side to side, like you're really trying to loosen your hip joint off with this little imaginary walk. Super, super. Come down to sitting. Move your bolster out from underneath the back of your knees unless you found that's the best way for you to go forwards and you need it there. Otherwise, now we've just got the bolster in front, which you might lean on like this. Or you might put it over your legs to help keep the legs down and just lean on it here. Or further down. Maybe your arms or your head can rest on the bolster. Or maybe you don't use it at all. Even if you know you can get flat to the legs, doesn't mean you have to get there straight away. Now, I know after 3 minutes I'm going to be pretty close to the legs, but right now I would struggle to hold it there. So I'm just going to let my body adjust with time. See if you can allow that same slowing down within your own approach to the poses. Last couple of breaths there. Make your way up slowly. Pause. Lie down onto your back. You don't need the bolster. Actually, you don't need it yet, but you might want it for the next pose. So if you put the bolster to your left side and then lay down. And we're starting off with banana stretch. So straighten out your legs. Arms overhead. Step your feet to the right corner of the mat, shift your head and shoulders toward the right corner, pull lightly on your left wrist but keep the left shoulder down. And maybe left ankle on top of right ankle but keep the left hip down. And then a little adjustment of your head so it feels nice and evenly placed between your arms and nose is pointing to the ceiling. when you exhale, really try and relax around your left pelvic bone. So the pelvic bone, the one that if you were maybe carrying a child, you'd prop them up on the side of your hip. That's the pelvic bone they'd be sitting on. So it's that ridge that goes across the side of your hip. And that whole area, and especially just inside the front bony point of there, wants to feel like it releases and relaxes with the exhale. And then we undo that side and go to the other side. This time pulling a little on your right wrist and crossing right ankle on top. Realigning your head to this side. Feel almost like your breath is filling up space inside you, like you're filling up a balloon, and let the balloon be now your right hip. So when you breathe in, there's an emphasis on breathing into the right hip, filling it like a balloon. It spreads up into the waist, into your belly, down into the upper thigh. And then when you exhale, that whole hip area and all the surrounding space softens and releases and drops. And then again, make your way back to centre. Once you're back into centre, bend your legs, feet flat on the floor, come to a knock-kneed position. Okay, and now we're going to go into a little twist, still accessing the outer hip area. Move your bottom a fraction off to the right. Bring your knees towards your chest. You've got two options here. You can either just keep your legs together as one leg and drop them down to the left, or you can cross your right leg on top of the left leg, so ideally crossing over at the thigh bones, and then drop your crossed legs over to the left. And I'm just going to grab something softer to go underneath because I find the ground quite hard for this one. On my bony hip, and my bony knee, and my bony M. That was a bad joke. Okay, so we're going over and staying there. Right arm extended or cactus shape. So the bolster's there so that if you find the ground is too far, which it could well be because it's quite a deep twist this, if you find the ground's too far away, then just wedge the bolster or a block underneath your legs instead. So you don't have to go all the way down to the floor. And it doesn't matter if your right shoulder's lifted a little bit, but if the right shoulder started to come kind of up toward the ceiling and now your arm's in limbo land, then you're better to get the legs up a bit higher and try and get the right shoulder and right arm so it can rest more on the floor. sometimes in these twists we don't feel the same developmental shifting or progression in the few minutes that we're holding it. You might think you're just in the same position the whole time, or you don't change as much as you do maybe in a forward bend. And that might be the case from the outside, but on the inside your body starts to really soften and your abdominal organs start to get wrung out a little more. So they start to develop a deeper twist inside the abdomen, which massages on your internal organs. So have that in mind, that you're really trying to soften the space between your pelvis and your rib cage, especially with your exhales. And let that ripple up into your shoulder, down into your hip. Really good for getting blood flow in the lymph space of the right chest, right armpit and up around. See if your breath can accentuate that. So to come out of this, first of all, if your head's turned, bring your head back to centre. And if your legs are raveled up, unravel them. I don't even know if that makes sense. Unravel them as you come back up to centre. Once both feet are on the floor, move your bottom to the middle of the mat and pause, and just let your body reset before the other side. It might be that you feel it more in your hip or lower back, or it might be you feel it more in your chest, arm and shoulder. To the other side, so your bottom now goes slightly off to the left. Your knees come in towards your chest. And then if you're crossing your legs, it'll be your left leg crossing over your right leg, and then the legs go down toward the right. And add the bolster again if you need to. Make any little shuffles you need to make. And often our rib cage isn't completely even one side to the other, which means that when we come to twist, we'll notice one side of the twist is easier than the other. That's definitely the case for me. So if you find one side easier, it could be that. It could just be your hips tighter or your shoulders tighter, or you don't turn this way as frequently in your daily movements. Whatever it is, just notice, be on the peripheral of the experience so you can observe. And you press down a little into your right arm. As your legs come up, they unravel, your bottom comes back to the middle of the mat, and pause. Take full body extension with the bolster underneath the back of your hips. Legs and arms straight. If that's not comfortable, then keep your feet flat on the floor so you're more in a bridge position, that's fine as well. Just holding this a minute. See if you can meet the pause at the end of your exhales. Bend the legs, remove the bolster from underneath your pelvis, push it towards your feet. And then we've got one more 1 minute pause before we take Shavasana. So make your way up to sitting, whether that's rolling over to your side or just coming up from here. If you are a bit tighter in the back of your legs, take your legs to the outside ends of your bolster so that your legs are wide. If you don't need your bolster, then just take your legs out wide and take a forward bend so that we're making good use of that open kneed position we started in, and then that forward bend of the straight legs, now putting the two together with a forward bend with wide legs. Your bolster can be in front if you need it to. B. Another 30 seconds. And then make your way up. And then we lie back into Shavasana with the bolster underneath the back of the knees. and stretch your arms long. Stretch your legs so your feet lift off the floor. Then pop your feet onto your bolster, turn onto your side and make your way slowly up to sitting. Take one of those breaths that we did right at the beginning, breathing into your lower lungs, your middle lungs, your upper lungs, and then even feel like you can breathe up to the top of your head. And then exhale the air all the way out, as if you can exhale all the way back down to the pelvis. Do that one more time, breathing in lower lungs, middle lungs, front, sides and back, upper lungs. And when you pause the breath, feel like you're breathing up to your head. And then exhale all the way down. When you get to the pause at the end, feel like you're dropping into the pelvis. And breathe normally, bring your palms together. I hope you feel wonderful after your little yin rebalancing session. Thank you very much, everybody. Namaste. Have a lovely evening. See you for next class, whenever that might be.